Right, good evening everyone and welcome to Sydney Olympic Park Hockey Centre. We're very excited about tonight's grand finals for the Sydney Masters comp. In about 5 minutes on Olympic pitch we have Sydney University versus Manly Gordon North Sydney in Sydney Cup, which is the second of our 5 grades. In 15 minutes time on pitch 2, not being streamed, we have Grand Masters, which is our 5th division. Northside are up against Sutherland. Should be an interesting night here tonight. Manly Gordon runners up last year, losing a shootout to Macquarie University. This year they finished 4th. Sydney Uni finished 3rd, and this year with knockout semi-finals we have the curious position where we have 3rd playing 4th. My name's Ian Jessup. Joining me tonight in commentary, a legend of Sutherland, Sydney, New South Wales and Australian hockey at Open and Masters level, Godfrey Phillips. Godfrey, who do you see as the key players here tonight on each side?
Well, actually, both sides, Ian. Thanks for that kind invitation. Sydney University, you have, looking in goals there, they've got Paul John, who's an exceptional keeper. He's played for New South Wales at the Open level and obviously at Masters level as well. Played for Australia at indoor hockey as well. So he's a key player in defence. I'm not surprised that they're in the semi-finals. Jason Fawkes, centre midfield. Paul Barrett, defender. And a New South Wales player. Adam Herford, a New South Wales player, central defender. Steve Longhurst, attacking midfield and New South Wales player. Matt Scholes, striker, New South Wales player. And Darren Pike as their striker. Manly Gordon North Sydney, they've got Mark Berwick as a striker. Bruce Holloway, attacking midfielder. A former New South Wales player, Paul Aldazier, a centre midfield. Rob Wildick at centre defender, and John Foster, striker. So really, wherever you look at the both sides, Ian, there's a lot of talent on both sides.
There's plenty, and I'm sure Manly will be hurting after last year's loss in the shootout. Just interesting there, Mark Berwick scored for Manly with a minute to go last year to force the shootout. He, I understand, is a former New Zealand junior international player, plenty of silky skills. Very bright orange shoes. It'll be easy to spot out there tonight.
Oh, that's him. Okay.
John Foster. John Foster plays weekend hockey for Uni of New South Wales. Last Saturday out here, they played their grand final in SL3 against Manly Gordon. He played against quite a few of his teammates who he's playing with tonight. That game was 4-all and went to a shootout with Manly Gordon prevailing. So they turned the tables there. Interestingly, that game, I came out and watched that. It was 2-1 after just 6 minutes of the first quarter. Goals are plenty. And the first 4 games, in fact, on Saturday in the Sydney Hockey Grand Finals in Sydney League, the lower grades, the first 4 matches, so 2 on each pitch, all went to extra time. And last night, in our first 2 Grand Finals of the Masters comp, both matches went to shootout. In this competition, if it's drawn at full time, we just go straight to a shootout. 5 lots of 1-on-1 against the keeper. Last night in Premier League, Briars and Barbarians finished 1-all. Briars won the shootout 5-4 on the first Southern Death shootout. And in the Senior Masters, which is the 4th of our 5 grades, Penrith won, drew with Manly Gordon 1, and Penrith prevailed 4-2 in the shootout. So if that's any indication, we could be in for a very tight game tonight. Also a very tight game following after this is the Masters division, which is the 3rd division, in which St George Randwick will be taking on Macarthur. Should also make special mention and congratulate the umpires appointed for tonight's grand final. Sydney Cup, the game we're covering here, Robert Sutton and David Coles, who also did Premier League last night. Chris Hawkins is the TO for this match. Chris will be umpiring the Masters grand final up next with Tim Campbell and Rob on the bench. Over on pitch 2, Chris Vandenbroek and Jeff Williams are umpiring. Todd Horsley, the TO. My watch says we're about to get underway. The time clock says we've got 3 minutes till we start. I'm looking forward to this. 30 minutes each way. So we don't play quarters in the Masters comp, just play half an hour each way. 5 minutes at half time. There will be time out if there are injury breaks or necessary stoppages in play. And like I said, if it's drawn, we go to a shootout.
How do you see this game tonight, Ian?
Manly Gordon, they will look at their year, and I wonder how they came 4th. They were a very strong side last year at full strength. They managed to knock over Briars in the semi-final, which was quite an achievement. Briars finishing on top. When they get their act together, Manly Gordon, they're a very hard team to stop. Lots of skill, lots of pace, and really well structured. Sydney Uni can be a bit more free-flowing. They can tend to concede goals here or there, but they've also got plenty of firepower as well. If Manly get on top early, they might be able to assert some dominance here. But then again, if you give Sydney Uni just the slightest bit of advantage, they will capitalise.
Well, Sydney Uni have great depth, don't they? Right through the grades, and and it's nice to see a lot of the older players having finished their Premier Division hockey, going through the grades, and then coming through to the Masters Division. And so for years they've actually been strong through every division, haven't they?
They have, and it's good now that we have 5 divisions in the comp. Sydney Uni have 4 teams, Manly Gordon have 3. They sort of are aligned with Northside, who are in the Grandmasters Grand Final, so they sort of stretch to 4 teams as well. Good depth, as you say, and bodes well for the comp when we've got such strong clubs.
The interesting thing is, if you go back to this, the Manly Club, which is one of the oldest clubs, in Australia. Back in the 50s and 60s and 70s, they were a powerhouse. They were very strong in numbers, through the men's, women's, and junior competitions, and thank you, and junior competitions, and then they lost their way for a few years, didn't they? And there's been certainly a resurgence in the last few years.
They did. They won Premier 2, or Sydney Cup as it was called, in the Sydney Hockey Comp, and were sort of pushing or thinking about pushing for promotion to Premier League. There were a few teams in the same boat as well. Easts, Bankstown, I guess the SHA could have looked at splitting into 2 grades of 8 at the top and having a genuine promotion relegation and trying to expand what would be an all-encompassing top division of 2 grades and have 16 teams. And when that didn't happen, Manly ended up being paired with St George and having to play their home games at Coima.
Yeah.
And they lost some players out of that, unfortunately. That was as Manly. They've since joined forces with Gordon North Sydney, who many years ago were an amalgam of Gordon and North Sydney. So
right. Yeah.
Mergers, where necessary, have borne fruit, and they're going okay.
Yeah, we see that the next game as well was St George and Randwick. So we'll come to that when we before that game starts.
Let's just go through the lineup here. Manly Gordon, George Manu in goals, 45 Ben Murray, 49 Robert Wildig, 58 Mark Berwick, 80 Paul Aldersey, 81 Craig Borman, 82 Dave Collier, 84 John Foster, 85 Stuart Hale, 86 Bruce Holloway, 90 John Markhead, 91 Ben Peaty, 92 Kevin Rule, 93 the captain John Stroud, 110 Darren Thomas, and Stu Douglas. We don't appear to have a number for him. He may well have one. Sydney Uni, goalkeeper Paul John, as Godfrey touched on, a very, very talented and multi-representative keeper. Number 6 Darren Pike, 8 Rashiv Rathor, 20 Jason Fawkes, 21 Paul Barrett, 30 Steve Longhurst, 31 Rowan McDonald, 41 Scott Dreyer, 43 Mateus Corriman, 43 Bernie Payne, 45 Matthew Shales, 61 Adam Herford, 67 Andrew Romanos, an old teammate of mine at Macquarie, 76 Simon Greville, the captain, 95 Ian Lowe, and Brian Gunner also there, who looks to be in 55.
He's 55, yeah.
Nappy in 55.
Yeah.
Umpires are out there now. We're just about to get set. Good luck to both teams. Good luck to the umpires. Let's see some good hockey.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, there's a minute silence for Robbie Sutton's son, who sadly passed away during the week. And so we send condolences, love and prayers to Robbie and his family, and it's great to see him umpiring again tonight.
Our thoughts certainly are with Robbie, much loved and very popular member of the hockey community in Sydney, New South Wales, runs a Just Hockey shop here at Olympic Park. He's at most state championships running the shop there and umpires many different competitions, many grades, many games. I'm sure if traffic lights broke down, Robbie would be out there directing traffic and doing a very good job.
Yes, for sure.
Usual rules apply here. Teams can be up to 16 players, 5 subs. There was a time in Masters hockey where you had to have a kitted up goalkeeper on the field. That's no longer the case, so it'd be interesting to see if we get towards the end of a game and one side decides to pull the keeper and play the extra field player, which is a tactic we're seeing a lot of at international level and at higher grade hockey. We're all set. It's a beautiful night here at Olympic Park. Not a cloud in the sky. There's no rain forecast. The smog from the bushfire, from the back burning by RFS is not going to be really a factor at all. The pollution levels I checked earlier today are in good to fair range. We're underway. Sydney Uni just working it down the right. Just going through results during the year. There's nothing in this. With the 6 teams in each grade, they play each other 3 times. First round, Manly Gordon won 3-1. Second round, Sydney Uni won 3-1. And the last round was a 2-all draw, so there's nothing in it. Sydney Uni just executing a good high press here, getting numbers forward. Unable to capitalise on a potential intercept there. I find it interesting, Godfrey, when we watch a lot of higher level hockey, they seem to do the fall away press quite often and pull everyone back right from the outset.
Yeah.
And tend to sort of wait and see what the opposition might try and come up with. I wonder why more often they don't institute that high press and really put some pressure on the defence at the back and make it tough to get the ball out of the back.
Yeah. I think as this game goes on, we'll see it because there's a lot of class in both these sides. There's a good switch to play, good vision.
Good cross to the right, just overran it slightly and found it on the back stick with quite a hard hit. I think some of the numbers are wrong on Sydney Uni 31 there. That definitely wasn't Rowan McDonald in that infringement. I think that's Rowan there at left half for Sydney Uni. Recognise that gate. Nice poach there. A little rough from Hamish there.
He means business.
A little agricultural. Now, interestingly, now Sydney Uni have thrown 2 players up high. A third player now getting right up high, forcing Manly to play 3 back, which opens up a lot of space in the midfield. Jason Fawkes will hit just slightly astray there. Interesting to see if they continue with that policy, Sydney Uni, of throwing players high to force Manly to match them man on man and then create that space in through.
It's a good tactic because Brian Gunner, as you know, over the years, one-on-one, he's very strong. You know, and if to make a good pass to him, there could be some danger. Here's a go.
He's also got one of the hardest hits I've ever seen in hockey, Nappy. Sydney Uni turning over, trying to come out of the back there. Manly get a chance to launch their first attack. They're trying to go through. That might have caught a hand.
He felt that.
Or a knee. Mark Berwick's got a pretty handy dribble here, a good fake and drag.
I was actually watching him in the warm-up.
Oh, there we are.
Yeah,
that's a goal early on, 4 minutes in.
Yeah, very patient. Good goal.
Nicely worked around the back and just the player unmarked at the far post.
I think that's the important thing at this level. The other thing at this level, if you're patient, as the centre half was then, there'll be space. That's right. Yeah.
Okay, let's see how Sydney respond here. So Mark Berwick with an excellent, just a really nice calm hold there around the top of the D, just held it, and had a high striker just in behind the defender where he was able to slip it to at the baseline. When you get in behind that defence, it's very hard to counter. That's a lovely overhead, good tackle.
Great tackle.
Tackle Hamish there, but Sydney maintain possession. Sometimes when you're playing finals and there's a bit of adrenaline and a few blood rushes, when you concede a goal, the temptation is to rush back as fast as you can up the other end. That's a nice feed. Berwick again, he'll be the key player, I feel, today.
Beautiful
and a lovely through ball to Kevin Rule. Oh, and a lovely.
Oh, whoa.
A lovely through ball again from Kevy, and the Sydney Uni player just going for the slide tack on the ball, unfortunately getting caught under his knees. That's our first corner for the night. First goal, some really nice upright backstick trap on the pass that came across, and then backsticked it into the sideboard. Ball just caught under the goalkeeper Paul John there. Will be another corner to Manly, Gordon.
Well, that was a great push out, great trap, great hit and great stop. Great execution all the way around. Kevin
Rule has an amazing ability to hit the ball hard and flat every single time. Yep. He hardly ever lifts it. A little slower out that time and a missed trap. They let it go outside the dotted line, it's open play, so the corner is still in play. And conceded. Sydney have it now. Yeah, just on that penalty corner, only have to bring it out another foot or so and it would have been free play. Which of course then allows the first shot at goal to be any height. Ambitious backstick attempt there. A little bit of calmness perhaps might have been called for there. We have put in a request to pitch 2 for a halftime update. That'll be early in our second half here for the Grandmasters game between Northside and Sutherland.
You can see Manly really, they're quite content to hold the ball, you know, a lot more patient.
That's just a little loose there, that pass back going to the back stick, and now. We're going for the lob, didn't quite get it. Ball just bobbled in front of him. I know, I could see what he was trying to do there. The keeper was well out.
The pass should have been flat because the Manly striker came up to join him, but he obviously didn't see him.
Saw the keeper out, thought he might lob him. Anyway, Manly still in control here, still dominating. That hasn't gone 5. But they've played advantage. Now Sydney Uni's still got 4 players back here. Oh, that's a soft turn almost.
It's still a turnover.
Just a little soft play there. Yeah, good chase down that. It's a 16. Good chase by the Sydney Uni player there. That could have been anything.
It just shows. I mean, we see this in international hockey. We see it at state level hockey, NHL. How dangerous the turnovers are. And here we're seeing it again at Masters hockey.
Yeah, Sydney Uni just getting very loose there out of the back, just not getting in the right position to make sure there's a strong effort on that first pass out of the back. Went up the guts twice and didn't find the player. I think through the midfield, Manly Gordon might well prove to be the fitter. Fitter team here. Well, there's a nasty injury there. A hit, an air swing that's gone through and collected a Manly player in the arm. Just up the top of the left arm. Accidental miss from Rowan McDonald there on Robert Wildig.
That's the danger. You're coming from the wrong side. You're going to leave yourself open to getting a smack. Lucky he didn't get a smack in the face.
One thing we teach all juniors is you don't tackle from the left unless you're absolutely making a goal-saving effort. We don't want people getting serious injuries from preventable situations. Now, the challenge here for Sydney Uni, having turned over 3 or 4 quite sloppy passes at the back against a well-organised Manly team, will be to ensure they hold possession for some period of time. That might be a long. Yes, it is. That's off Manly. If Sydney Uni keep turning it over, they'll find themselves chasing a lot of green shirts all night long. That'll tell on their legs. They then won't have the legs for the attack. Let's see what happens here.
They need to get a result. They need to get a result coming to the circle here.
Even if it's a hit from the sideline or a free hit, just got to make sure you retain possession and deny Manly some more time in attack. Paul Barrett with a nice switch to the left. See that.
Good trap.
That was a lovely trap. Raised ball, about top of the shin pad height, under pressure, right in the middle of the stick. Sydney there with some nice work in the circle. They had 3 strikers constantly rotating and changing their position. Manly players leading, but the route 1 ball in, no way through. Ball from Darren Thomas there to Berwick. Oh, lovely tackle. Paul Barrett, you don't get past his 4-stick too often. Darren Thomas there, the father of Ashley Thomas, who made his Kookaburras debut earlier this year in the toughest of all circumstances against Holland and Belgium over in Europe.
And did well.
And did well. I think a smoko break there, but eventually Manly come out with it.
Sydney Uni just giving the Manly players too much room.
The problem if you play a zone defence, Godfrey, as you're well aware from your career, is that if you play a zone defence and you don't get in the don't have the calls and don't have the reads on the play, you're just going to be witches' hats.
Yeah.
Manly just getting a little loose now. We're 12.5 minutes into the first half. Subs starting to be made. Last 5 minutes, it's just been a bit scrappy. That could have paid for Rays.
Well, as the rules have changed, if it doesn't hit you, it's not dangerous.
Nice cut out from Darren Thomas again on the back stick. Sydney need to move this ball with a little bit more urgency. Yeah. Their passes are just a little on the slow side. Manly can regroup. When Manly get it, they're very quick to move that first 1 or 2 passes. I like Paul Barrett. Good little dribble and a attempted shave pass in, just raised, just about hip height. And Robbie Sutton wants that back over where the infringement was. There's a couple of shirt numbers that are not correct out there tonight, so
it doesn't look like him.
Rowan McDonald for Sydney, and he's not in 31. He's on the other side of the field. I'm just trying to see what number he's actually in. Shivra Thor on now for Sydney, I notice, up in the left wing position. He's got a pair of those very shiny orange boots as well, same as Mark Berwick. There's a nice cross. That's a lovely ball.
There you go.
Well blocked for long. Looking for the deflection at the far post. Manly player just getting a nice good flat stick in the way. Craig Borman I see on now for Manly Gordon. He's been with their club more than 20 years.
It's just not sticking for them, is it?
No, not quite. And it's hard when you're playing a high forward on the right-hand side and you lead out towards the sideline. The through ball comes to your back stick. We'll just come back to that in a minute. Kevin Rule to Berwick. No, just a bit too far in front. Good try. Yeah, if you're making that lead out towards the right wing and the ball goes to the outside, which is where you want it away from the defender, you've then got to pick it up at full stretch on your back stick, test all your skills. Sometimes every intention is to get the stick there, you just don't quite get that control. If you're leading the other side of the field, you're going to pick it up on your four-stick. Quite a few of the players we're seeing in action tonight and last night will be off to Perth in 10 days for the Nationals. Wish New South Wales players all the best over there.
It'll be a great tournament. Perth do it well, don't they?
They do. Any games, Bunbury and Bustleton this time?
Yeah. It's two big hockey centres in WA.
It's a combined carnival with the women's masters and the men's masters, so there's going to be a lot of people visiting WA, a lot of people making a bit of a holiday of it.
And the interesting thing is whenever it's the Nationals are in WA, all the former national players make themselves available
for WA.
Right? And if you meet them in the first few games, you're in trouble. But by the end of the second week, they've all run out of pace.
They're strong at the best of times, but on home turf, and we all know that WA just a little isolated, and they like to make a special point of sticking it to the East Coast people.
Oh yes, we're the Easterners.
Oh, that's a lovely play, but nicely picked off. That was promising for Sydney, but Robert Wildig there just a little bit of yard quicker getting to the ball and a nice backstick pick. Get there, yes, well gathered. Oh, I'd like to see a player leading out to the baseline there for that deep ball. Still in play. Ball to the centre.
Yes, you go.
Shiva, nice tackle, but Darren Thomas. Shiv keeping possession. Well done. As a striker, that's what you want to do. If you don't get the money ball in or the shot, you want to make sure that whatever you do, you end up with still in possession. It's 1-0 to Manly Gordon. 18 minutes gone, first half. Berwick just losing control there, trying to get a little fancy, but they've turned it over straight away, Sydney Uni.
Yeah, I feel Manly still are in the ascendancy here.
Sydney Uni, to my mind, when they get the ball, when they regain possession of the back, they're still looking to go right up the guts, route one, instead of looking to go wide and get it around that first line. Again, not a lot of width there. It's for Jason Fawkes to try and get through. It's a lovely overhead. And a good tackle to meet it. No way through there. 3 Sydney plays in the way.
Bad pass.
Both teams just getting a bit impatient there, trying to go straight through the middle. Width and depth generates plenty of attack. Oh, Ian Lowe might pick that. No. Yeah, just a stick check on the second attempt. Nice cover from Manly Gordon. Sydney, though, don't have the numbers there. They had 1 player on the ball and 1 high. Manly had 5 at the back, so it was always going to be a tough ask.
I'd like to see number 45, Matt Charles from Sydney Uni, really take this Manly defence on. He looks the most dangerous in the forward lines, but he keeps turning it over.
Zigged when he should have zagged. Low went infield, the ball went out.
Yeah.
Nice idea, but again, just an example there, just not quite.
Not in sync.
Not the width in attack too. If you keep going up the guts, Manly will just stock 3 or 4 players up the middle there. And untroubled. If you get a speedy player out wide and you get the ball out to the wing, they can get around a slower defender. It's nicely worked by Manly Gordon. They're just wide, then up the line. They're all. And again, if he picks this up, lovely.
Oh.
Could be dark shirt out of the peripheral vision there, Godfrey. A dark blue and a dark green.
Could have been a call as well. Come on, Gunner.
Nice slide, nice try. But just that last play from Manly Gordon, 3 passes outside down the line. They were down on the baseline at the other end.
Very methodical. They're more organised, aren't they?
They are.
Tonight, anyway.
Sydney just playing a bit on spec at the moment. Just need a little bit more solidity, a bit more structure. There's a ball on out to the right. No, it's been covered now. Still on out right. No, it's being shut down now. Not many calls. Rowan McDonald now on a charging run. Ouch.
Yeah.
Nice. That's good from Rowan.
Well,
just
he
patience.
kept possession. He kept possession.
That
was
patience.
good.
You could see his forwards leading, and he was trying to get a ball in there, but being held well by the defence. They held it and just banged it into a leg.
Well, it's a bit unlucky there. I thought that could have been a long corner because the Sydney player struck at it, but it came off the Manly fullback stick.
I thought so too, the angle at that. Thought it might have been a long. Anyway, Manly again just out to the right wing, and then they've got that through ball to John Foster. He's turned it over though. Nice. Nice little shave chop. Intention was there, but not the execution.
That's right.
John Markhead now. Good to see John back in action last year at the 55 state champs in Goulburn. Suffered a nasty broken hand. Well tackled. Looking forward to Brian Gunn and Appy there, absolutely winding up.
Yes, he just couldn't get his feet in the right position.
Just needed that half a second longer.
The good thing with him up there is he stretches the defence because he does go to the back line.
You don't see it often enough at all levels of hockey, especially lower grade weekends and kids hockey. People seem to forget that the offside rule went out after the 1996 Olympics.
Yeah.
You can be anywhere on the field these days.
That's
the only place you can't be is standing in front of the goalkeeper and blocking them at making a play. There's a tomahawk. Save George Manu. And along. That's better.
Yeah.
A little bit of enterprise there. There's a good quality tomahawk. The angle probably wasn't on, but had to test the keeper out.
You got to have the shot.
You won't get an answer unless you ask a question. There's a big ball on back and to the right. Oh, that's a lovely ball to the top. And keen for the hit. But Wildig just getting in with the dispossess early on. And that whack you heard was a Sydney Uni stick. Oh, this is a lovely, lovely counter attack. That's a little bit agricultural from both, but Manly have the free hit. Everyone has to be 5 here. The only option there is just a dump back. And with that offside rule out, you can be behind the last defender now, and that's one way to stretch the defence. 5.5 minutes left. I've been impressed by the precision of Manly's passing, Godfrey. They get that first ball out wide, and then that next ball sort of from the quarter line to the halfway line has really hit the stick every time. They've hardly missed one. That's allowed them to really push into attack from there.
And that's the secret in Masters hockey. You've got to put the ball on the stick, and they're executing better tonight than Sydney Uni are.
For all that, it's still only 1-0. Sydney Uni have had some half chances in the last minute. Haven't heard any roars or cheers or donk of the backboard on pitch 2, so I'm assuming it's still 0-0 there with Northside and Sutherland in Grandmasters. The 5th of our 5 grades. We're watching Sydney Cup here, which is the 2nd of our 5 grades. Oh, John Foster's in with a chance here now. No support in the circle as yet. He'll just have to hold it up. Easily covered by Barrett.
Just turning the ball over here.
The high striker in that situation needs to be wider or in front of the defender. And the ball has to be precise, as you said. That's play on. And a long corner. I think there was a foul there initially, but kept possession and there was advantage. Yeah.
Played the advantage.
John Marquardt just couldn't quite make anything of it there, but they've got the long. If you're out here Saturday, we've got the Sydney Hockey Premier League Grand Finals, 3 grades. Well, there's a missed trap. Gunner has it. Just couldn't quite control it. It just bobbled off that missed trap from Manly Gordon.
He was in 2 minds of either having a shot himself or passing it to the player alongside him.
It did look that.
He should have backed himself.
Did look that. The other thing that happens there is it can just take that extra second to get control when it's bobbling. First stick check there. They'll have the free hit on the dotted line rather than a ball in from the sideline. Sydney Uni have just under 3 minutes to try and craft something here. Oh, he's got it. Just a missed trap. It's play on. And that's up off Manly Gordon. Very scrappy there, but Sydney Uni stayed in it. They showed some real determination to make sure they got to the ball first twice or 3 times. Ball up off the Manly Gordon stick into the body, and that is a short corner, and it's penalty corner number 1 for Sydney Uni tonight.
It's well played by Sydney Uni, because normally in a situation like that you have a desperate tackle by a forward, don't you? There's a clash of sticks and you give the free hit away. They were very patient, and they could get a reward here.
We've got 2 minutes on the clock. There's no timeouts for corners. It's not elite level with advertising breaks while they get set for the 30 seconds and putting on masks. That's out nice and strong. And a good flick and a good save from Manu, and nice. Looks like Hamish there on the rebound. Well played by Manly Gordon. Well played Sydney Uni in the corner.
Yep.
The rebound just didn't fall to a blue shirt. But they've got the ball from the sideline. with a minute and a half to go till half time.
They need to at least get a penalty corner here before half time.
Manly Gordon bringing all 11 players back in defence now. John Marcard just coming back to the top D. They're all inside the 24, all inside the dotted line except for one. Well, it might have been. Oh, there's no one 5.
No, 5 metres.
No one's 5 from either team. Probably a fair result there. Sydney Uni will still have it. We're less than a minute. I wouldn't be dawdling though. We need a good cross.
Put it in the
Open it up. Oh, how about that through ball up route 1? It's with Rowan McDonald. Cracks it in. Oh, Gunny. Yeah. Nappy with an attempted deflection. He's pointing at a green stick, but it's a 16 rule by Robbie Sutton.
Actually, I agree with Brian. I thought it did come off a Manly defender stick.
We didn't hear anything from up here, but no one else seemed to appeal. That's off green again. So Sydney Uni have, let's see that clock counting down, 18, 16 seconds to get it in from the sideline. It's got to go 5 metres first before it can then be played in. That looks like travelled. Yes, good call from Dave Coles. Oh, I think Sydney Uni are looking for a call from the trailing umpire. Not coming. That's half time. We've got 1-0. Manly Gordon taking the lead in the 4th minute. The first 10 minutes they were all over Sydney Uni. Then it got a little scrappy. Then Sydney Uni had some chances at the end. As you say, Godfrey, it's Manly Gordon have had the better structure, but Sydney Uni with the last 5 minutes have had 4 or 5 half chances.
Yeah, so we're in for a good second half, but definitely Manly was certainly the better of the two sides there.
If you were the Sydney Uni coach, what would you be saying to your Chargers once they've had a drink and caught their breath?
They've just got to make their passes more accurate, more deliberate. But I'd like to see their inside forwards, take on the Manly defence a little bit more. They just seem to be throwing the ball away, turning it over, and then very quickly they have to defend again. So they're turning the ball over too much.
That ball out of defensive midfield from Sydney Uni has tended to be 20 to 30 metres, looking for the money ball to really sort of launch their play from there, and Manly Gordon have just been waiting for it.
Yeah.
Whereas Manly, when they've come out of a 16, they've gone wide, right out to the sideline, almost to a wing half or a defensive outside player, and then they've gone up the line and found space that way.
And on the other side, when Manly are attacking in Sydney University's defence, yeah, so in their defence, Manly seem to be a lot more structured in the attacking zone there, aren't they? Their passes are better. They're more deliberate. They're looking for a result.
Manly have seemed to know where their forwards are leading when they go into attack, when they get over halfway and you're looking to find that ball that hits the guy up high when you're thinking, hello, here's something. They've been able to find that guy. I don't know whether Sydney Uni are, with their defensive structure, whether they're playing more a zonal thing and letting... Happy to have the opponents get the ball and then make the cover tackle, the block tackle.
There's definitely a zonal defence they have tonight, and Manly are exploiting that.
We'll see what happens in the second half. After Manly's good play in the first 5 minutes and Sydney Uni's enterprise and determination and desperation in the last 5, we'll see. I'll be interested to see how the pace of this game goes, whether it slows as players get tired, being at Masters level, or whether one of the sides can come out and really sort of have a 5-6 minutes where they really go really hard and fast.
Sydney Uni have got to look for Brian Gunner when he comes on, because he does post up well. For a big guy, he moves around the goalkeeper, he moves around the fullbacks, but he's always moving to a post. Which for the Sydney Uni centre halves or the inside forwards have got to be looking for him, for a hard hit to him so he can deflect it. I remember when he was coaching the under-18 ladies side, and my daughter Yasmin was in that team, and one thing she as a fullback and as a midfielder, that was one of the things he would say to them: smash that ball through and get the girls up front posting up. And they scored a lot of goals from coming up meeting the ball and deflecting it into goal. And you can see Gunnar does that himself over here, but they're not reading him.
Some halftime instructions being handed out there from both sides. Sydney Uni, a little bit more animated chat. Manly Gordon obviously feel they've got control of the game, even though gave away a corner at the end and had a couple of hairy moments.
Interesting how Kevin Rule in the Manly side, Ian, has fitted nicely into that midfield role. Because as a younger player, he was a terrific striker, you might remember. He's got a lot of goals for North Sydney.
Even last year, he was playing more of a striker role, but Manly Gordon have recruited well and got a couple of good players in their side this year, so maybe Kevy's more comfortable in that that midfield or attacking midfield sort of inner role. Kevy's been around the Sydney scene for many years. Got a wonderful hard hit.
He has that time as well when he has the ball. He doesn't rush, you know. So I guess as a striker, he always wanted to get a good ball to him from the midfield. So now he's in that midfield role. So he's making sure that he delivers a good pass straight onto his forward sticks.
He's got those silky smooth hands too, those
Always
soft
has.
hands. One of her teammates could whack a ball 50 metres. Kevin traps it. The ball really goes more than 4 or 5 inches from his stick. He's just got that wonderful sense of timing. I'd love to see him with a pitching wedge in his hand and the sort of control he has over a ball where you really need to finesse it there.
You're right. He's got great touch. He's got a great feel for it.
Some masks being taken down to the other end there for corner defence.
Help me with this. John Marquardt, did he play with New South Wales Uni when he was a whole lot younger?
I have a feeling he did.
Because if it is the same John Marquardt, he was a silky smooth inside forward for New South Wales University.
I know there are some hockey players' names I've seen where the surname is Marquand, ending in AND as opposed to AD.
Yeah, this is Marquardt, yeah. And his father also was a very, very good Masters hockey player in the early days, you know, the very early days of Masters hockey in Sydney.
So just recapping the round matches between these two teams, the one winner piece and a draw. In the semi-finals, Sydney Uni, who finished third on the ladder, beat UTS 4-0. UTS was second. Manly Gordon finished fourth, knocked over minor premiers Briars 3-1. So a couple of upsets there. This year we have knockout semis because we've lost quite a few time slots due to, we'll get back to that in a moment, Berwick just couldn't quite control it there. Yeah, we lost quite a few time slots this year because the Pro League booked out the entire venue for about 10 days. And then the under-21s national champs were on here, so we did have some time slots at night, but not all of them. Then Anzac Day was one of our regular Tuesdays, and the Women's World Cup soccer semi-final that was out here was also one of our Wednesdays, so didn't quite have enough time slots to play the usual major-minor semi-final with a prelim. So it was knockout right from the get-go in the semis. And this is the only instance in the 5 grades where we have 3 versus 4 playing the grand final.
Good vision, and throw it right back.
Yeah, it's got to come left there though.
Yeah,
nice.
Well done.
Just couldn't quite make the trap there. When that transfer, as you say, back to the point and then back out left, you also need that high striker just up on the edge of the circle and the baseline. Maybe the word did get out about ball control because Sydney and you look a little bit more assured now. Not quite that rushing that they had. That's off Manly, so Sydney will keep possession.
Again, I'd like to see their passes be a lot firmer. You know, that's I refer to it. You know, as you get older, you start to play all man's hockey. I hate all man's hockey. It's got to be hard. It's got to be. Your tackles have got to be hard. Your passes have got to be firm, and right on the stick. Like
you're right.
Right intention there. You know,
absolutely.
But
and at this level,
Kevin Rule,
you back the players to make the trap. Here's Mark Berwick now up high.
Good vision.
Lovely
good
transfer.
Oh.
Big air swing there on the shot.
Yeah.
you could have possibly argued that the Sydney Uni player was not within playing distance of the ball, but
I think Robbie should have let it go because there was no danger there at all. He missed the ball, simple as that.
erring on the side of caution. But a nice build up there. Interesting, they're playing Mark Berwick as a high striker. It's almost like Manly Gordon are playing a 3-3-3-1 with the one up high.
Yeah.
But Berwick last year, and especially in the grand final, played more as an old-fashioned inside forward attacking mid. Made a lot of ground, created a lot of havoc, and then threw the ball for the high guys. He's playing up top today.
I don't mind that because he's got good vision, you know, and he makes good passes.
And he's got the speed to eliminate his defender, get some separation, as they say in AFL, to get the ball first.
Yeah, I was watching him warming up. In the warm-up, he's got some very, very good silky skills. That pass he threw back then, that was great vision. Throw it, you know, at that angle, throw it back to the.
There were no defenders across there, but unfortunately, then Manly just didn't have anyone else on the right-hand side in attack to go to further.
Had the right idea, and missed the ball.
First one to Sydney Uni, playing on.
No. That's a hit and miss. That's poor play.
Just need a little composure there. See if he burns baseline here.
But he tried to get the short.
Played for it. Looks. That must have just been off the stick.
Yep.
Berger with a spin there, trying to put it into the
He
foot.
did that well, didn't he?
He did.
You don't see too many at Masters doing a spin.
And they're
like
almost
that.
impossible to defend because the spin you think they're going to pull out halfway through on a different angle into the circle, so you're compelled to go with the guy. If he does a full spin, then your feet are in the wrong place to try and make the tackle. One of the guys in my team, Simon Plummer, got that spin going about 10 years. He can do 2 and 3 of it. The only trouble is he gets a bit giddy at the end. You're not quite sure where the pass might go. In the old days, you could never do it with the old obstruction rule. You could never turn your body at all towards a defender.
I remember when it first came and some of our guys tried it, and my good mate, and you've played against him, Noel French, did that one night in the warm-up, put his back out, didn't play for 6 weeks.
Well, let's leave the fancy stuff to the elites and the kids, and then the Premier League and the top rep guys will just play stick-to-stick hockey here. See if Sydney Uni can just hold it here. They're camped down the right wing. Might come back now. They're looking for left half.
Yeah. So I'd like to see 61, you know, the Sydney sweeper connect. He's not connecting with the players. He needs to go over the halfway and connect.
They're throwing players high, which I don't mind, but you've got to have that connection. You've got to have the links. Oh, here we go. Well, no one was expecting it that flat. Sydney Uni still in possession. Gone to baseline, but no one's there. That's just that play where when you're camped around the D, you need to have 1 or 2 players at the baseline for that through ball, not trying to run it down, but camp there so they're behind the defence when they receive it. They then run baseline. The defence are then caught on their backstick. A little bit of gesticulation there. I think the Manly player would have liked it on the the four-stick.
That's exactly what he was saying. That's exactly what he said. He was waiting for it then. He gets it on the reverse stick, and now they're under pressure.
Might not have been aware he had a defender on the four-stick side, so the teammate passing naturally to the safe side, which was the more difficult side to control. It's raised up and in.
Yeah.
Like Jason Fawkes there, good try. See what he was trying to do. The ball was just a little bouncy, came up off his stick and then just went to tap it in. A nice cut out, but Rule's got that. Berwick's wide. Foster's high. It's 1 on 4 at the moment. Yeah, that could be. I'm wondering. Oh.
You could see Kevin Rule, a former striker, was there on the spot, wasn't he? He got the shot in. He got the shot in.
Absolutely. We've got news from pitch 2 in the Grand Masters, which are the 5th hour 5 grades. North side 1, Sutherland 0 at half-time over there. Thank you to Mark Matheson for that update, and Todd Horsley, the TO, providing that through. I'm wondering if a couple of these passes now, as players get tired, there's a bit of dark shirt peripheral vision here. You look up with them playing in dark blue, you look up, you see a dark shirt, you realise it's a dark green, and vice versa.
He's just run on. That's a good indoor hockey trick, isn't it?
Scored a goal like that once, ran on, no one saw, straight to the far side of the D, bang. That's where the heck did he come from? You see it in there. You watch the AFL or two of the gate where they come on and off, and someone kicks to the sideline, and the defence thinks, what on earth has he kicked it there for? And the guys come straight off the interchange bench, got it, they're down the wing. I'm liking what I'm seeing now from Sydney Uni a lot more. They're a lot more composed,
a lot more purpose.
More purpose, and the passes are a bit firmer. They're more willing to give 3, 4, 5 passes before they look for that ball that really sort of gets in behind that line of defence. Manly clearly looking to hit Mark Berwick high. Oh, that's a missed trap, and Foster's got it. Rule now going high. Let's see some faster ball movement here. No one on there. Murford with some nice skills at the back there. Yeah, and a lovely release. That's good. Manly.
This is a lot better.
Manly just zonal around the D, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Cross coming in now. Yeah, it was just on the soft side, and a stick check from the player coming through. But again, Sydney Uni there, good build up and good patience. But again, when the time came for the cross, they had 3 plays in a straight line right across the field. So you really only had one option, yet despite having 3 players. If there's one player baseline as soon as they transfer, you've got more angles. And if you've got more angles, and if your intended pass doesn't go to the player intended, it might find a teammate anyway. Foster up high. Oh, lovely little jink into Rule.
Good play.
Oh, lovely. That's a beautiful goal.
Beautiful
that
goal.
Is superb goal.
Excellent.
Berwick, and then a lovely diagonal ball through to Kevin Rule. That's 2-0 to Manly, Gordon. 10 minutes gone, second half.
And it was that early pass from Kevin to Berwick that was so important.
Absolutely.
And then back to him for a great finish.
That's beautiful linkage. That's guys who played together and got a really good understanding there. Lovely diving. Shot at goal. Paul John, no real answer there. Had to stay and protect the shot from the top D from Berwick. By the time the through ball came, Rule was already on site. Diving, defending it in, deflecting it in. That's a beautiful goal. Sydney, though, straight back in attack.
That's disappointing for Sydney Uni because they were getting a bit of momentum. They had a bit of possession. They're moving the ball well, and then this terrific build-up.
It was against the run of play, certainly. Can't get disheartened, though. They'll feel a bit dejected, but they've got to keep going.
They've got too much space in the midfield.
Sydney Uni had 5 players back there in a flat line, and Foster 10 yards in front of them, able to receive easily, and then dish it off to Berwick. Careful he doesn't back into the defender there. Yeah, well done. Nice patience in defence here from Sydney. It's easy to dive in over the top and stick check.
Yeah. Good play, good hockey.
Never easy when you're up against a highly skilled player in possession of the ball. Sydney, you've turned it over a few times. They've just given that no-look pass. They've had their heads down. He's 5. He was about 6 there.
Yep.
Fortunately. That's just again a pass to nobody. 4 players high, but no one making that hook lead back in front to receive. As a coach, you want to see some players going high, some players leading back towards the ball to receive on 4-stick and turn and go 4-stick.
There's too big a gap between the Sydney University players from the defence through to the striker range. They're either all up or all back.
They might feel they don't have the fitness or the legs to compete to match with Manly Gordon, so that's their tactic. If it comes off on a hit their player, you think, oh, that's really good play, but the players who wish to receive that need to make sure they've got a variety of receiving positions so that a ball that doesn't come off might still end up hitting a teammate. If you're standing by 2-3 yards behind your opponent, you're not going to get it unless there's a missed trap, and you shouldn't rely on missed traps ever. Similar situation there.
Yeah.
Sydney just caught behind the defender. Need to be wider to receive a wide ball, or 5-10 metres behind so that the through ball is on rather than just standing behind. Sydney coach, I'd probably be saying to them, you just need to run your backsides off the next 5-6 minutes. Run yourselves ragged, run Manly ragged, see if you can get something happening. Oh, nice overhead cutout. Scott Dreyer, lovely overhead intercept. Oh, it's just going to be just too much there. Nice idea. We're approaching the 15-minute mark of the second half, which is 3/4 away through this 60-minute game. It's Manly Gordon 2, Sydney 0. On pitch 2, early in the second half, it's Northside 1. Sutherland 0 in Grand Masters. We're watching Sydney Cup, which is the second of our 5 grades. Ian Jessup commentating here with Godfrey Phillips. Here's a chance.
Good cutout, Bart. Good cutout.
Nice cutout on the back stick under pressure.
I think on the other pitch, Sutherland was always going to do it pretty tough tonight. I don't think they've beaten Gordon or Sydney side this year.
Northside very strong in that grade.
Yeah.
They might find themselves promoted next year. And well won by Sydney Uni to earn their first corner for the half.
Well,
Second
they need
penalty
this,
corner
but
for
they
the
haven't
game.
got Brian Gunner on, who's normally a prolific scorer from penalty corners.
See if they go for some kind of variation. So in the Northside Sutherland game, just while we're having a little break, 2 of the 3 games are drawn 1-0 and Northside won the other 3-0. Semi-final, Northside beat Ryde 5-0. Sutherland, who came third, beat Sydney Uni 1-0. Herford with a drag and nice save from George Manu. Great save. George Manu's over 60 and still moves well. Great save there. Here's a second chance. Oh, lovely goal. Yeah. That's a beautiful slot from the long corner. Yeah. Manly Gordon just caught napping there. Just really sort of not any urgency to get top of the D and really make sure that ball just doesn't come straight back in.
Well, it's game on now. Sydney only needed that. And, great result.
Our sheet says 61's Adam Herford for Sydney, their fullback. He's had a really good second half in defence. Gone up on the corner and put one in. It's 2-1. That's what we wanted to see. We want to have a game that goes right down to the wire. Lovely carry by Foster. All right. That'll give Sydney some heart. But automatically they're going into the big whack. The country and western hockey. No need for that. Just when you've got a sniff back at 2-1. A lot of space on the right of the circle if someone leads. He go it himself. That could, that's just outside. That's a
good strong tackle.
A free hit. Now, because play is broken down, the defenders should be allowed to stand 5. I thought that free hit was right up on the edge of the D.
It was.
Robbie just letting that come out to the 5. No one there for that one. There's a hit just like the one that scored the goal. That is through.
There's a go.
Impossible angle. It's in.
Goal!
What a goal. 2-2 just like that. Goodness me. That's the same hit from Herford. Herford scored with an absolute cracker into the backboard, and then he's made that lovely tackle. Hit it long, long distance up to the Sydney forward line, and in a matter of seconds, it is 2-2. I think that's about 80 seconds, Godfrey, and we've got 2-2. Now, I'm not sure.
All against the run of play.
I'm not sure who scored that because Rowan McDonald is listed as 31, but he's not playing in 31 tonight. And from an almost impossible angle too, that can't have been more than 2 or 3 metres off the baseline. Well, we've got a game on our hands now suddenly.
And great goal because you went to the far post, which you do from the right-hand side. You went to that. Great execution.
The Manly player in defence there just got caught out with his opponent behind him and unsure where he was, and the through ball came, turned around, and he was not there. Again, that's the advantage, as we were talking before, of having a high striker some yards behind a defender but out wider, so that the defender is unsure of where you are, and a beautifully timed ball that's accurate will hit that guy. 2-2. We've got a game on our hands. We've got 11 minutes left in the Sydney Cup Grand Final. Well, if you went out to make a cup of tea or get a muesli bar or put the kids to bed or check an email and you come back, the game has turned on its head. Manly Gordon now a bit panicky out of the back.
Should get a short here.
Or a shot.
Rushed
Manu. But that's much better play. So that second goal came from the attacker being well behind and off to the side of the defender. That one there, a little hook lead to the front. Possession in, get the shot. Shot was muffed, but it still needed to be saved.
Well, certainly a lot more urgency with Sydney University now.
That's off the stick. Again, just a little. Well, who can hold their nerve here? John Stroud, their captain.
Looked like a foot there, didn't it?
I think I heard a little bit, unless it was a wooden leg. I think it might have been all stick there. Good trap by Rathor. Oh.
Come on, Gunners.
Darren Thomas has him covered there, has Brian Gunner covered. Oh, they're going back in the middle. That's a little soft. Yeah, nicely worked
Nicely out.
Oh, but gone for the ball back in the middle. It's 3-on-2.
Fair enough.
Just a little shoulder, I think, in there, coming from behind. Might have roared his disapproval, but I think that was a correct call there. Need to be in front to make that play. Oh, lovely jink.
Well done. Oh, bad luck.
Nice drag, but too far.
Yeah.
Kind of fancy.
20 years ago, you'd have picked that up.
A common refrain in Masters hockey. 20 years ago, you would have got that. To which some wag might call out maybe 30 for you. There's a bit more enterprise from Sydney in here. Just overran that one. See, fatigue starts to play a role. 8 minutes left. Like Foster on the ball there. It's a transfer right to Stroud. See if Rule leads out. Pass was given a little early, but it's off McDonald.
Kevin Rule has moved up into the forward line now. And they need him up there if they're going to get that third goal.
Yeah, I think a one out strike is not enough.
No.
That's ambitious.
Whoa.
Oi. I think I heard the whoosh from up here. There's a bit of pinball happening here. A few missed traps, a few missed passes. That's a better ball.
Certainly have the ascendancy, haven't they?
They have. They got their...
Years ago.
Watch for the whack. There's a card coming here.
Yeah.
Looks like Hamish. There might have been a rough tackle in there.
Yeah, it was a tired tackle.
So I think that's a green. A long way from the umpire up here on level 3. So if that's a green, that's 2 minutes. Didn't look harsh enough for a yellow. Portland and Manly hold the ball here. 2 minutes to soak up and to try and launch a counter, but most importantly, they don't want to be on the heels in their own 25 defending with a man down. Lovely cross. Everyone might have been waiting for the free hit there, and Herford just putting his hand up off the foot just outside the D. Got just under 6 minutes. Berwick to take this. Look for him to drag it 5 yards left.
He's going to back himself.
And look to win a corner. Just rushed that on the baseline. It was a good intention, good idea, but just need to make sure of the trap there. There's no need to rush things. Hold the ball there, you can get a corner. Another one of those balls out to the back stick, the player leading out. With Thor on it now. Petey with a nice cutout.
Robbie Sutton was right on the line. He saw that ball go out.
The whole ball must be completely over the line. Perfect position there. See if they do the transfer around the back via Barrett. Or straight across to right half. Sydney Uni have 2 players in the D, a third player getting up there now. Manly setting the zone around the ball. That's nice. And a good save.
Good save.
Good first time shot. There's a corner.
Yeah.
4 minutes left. Can Sydney Uni?
Well, they've certainly had the ascendancy in the last 5 to 10 minutes.
Can they take the lead here, Godfrey? Against the run of play for the vast majority of the game, but certainly in the ascendancy the last 5-10, as you say.
Well, the way Adam hits it, there's every chance. He's got to strike it, though. If he tries to drag it, Manu, it makes it easier for him.
It's forks on the trap. It's got to come out fast in a clean trap and an almighty crack. The flick and a great save on the line.
Brilliant.
That was a firm flick. It was only about knee height, but still required a really good solid stick save. Interesting that he went for the flick option there. I thought given his previous success, he might have gone for the hit.
Well, particularly at this level, you know, with due respect, lots of people really don't flick it that hard, but he certainly can smash it when he hits it. So I don't know why he didn't back himself.
It was well directed. There was a player on the line in that position. Oh, yeah. Oh, well covered. Had to be. There were 2 Sydney guys behind there, just waiting to pounce. We're into the last 3 minutes.
Nobody with him.
Manly Gordon are, I wouldn't say playing for time for the shootout, but not a lot of urgency there. Foster on it now. Oh, that's excellent defence.
Excellent.
That
Great
is
defence.
very good defence. On the back stick and then clearing it. That's a quality
Copybook
defence. There was no room for error there. That's a nice hook lead and turn. Oh,
He's very skillful.
that could be a corner. That's a got to be very careful when you go down for a slide tackle. If you slide and the ball hits your body, that's a short corner and a card. I'll just take the easy long. A lot of leading happening in the circle now. Can't see it on camera, but Sydney and his strikers are really moving around in the lead up to that cross pay. Now, yeah, a lot of leading happening now, moving around. Manly going with them one-on-one. Oh, there's a lovely touch through. Forks. Oh, that's a field goal in any code of football. Unfortunately, in hockey, it's over the top. That could have been the winner.
Nice, methodical build-up by Sydney Uni.
Lovely build-up. And then the little jink ball over into the D. Forks is free. Harry Potter fans, can Forks the Phoenix rise again and find a winner? We've got a minute left.
Or are we going for another shootout?
There's a ball on the left. That's it. You need to move, Manly Gordon. You need to lead. There's not enough time left to be stationary here.
Got to get in the circle.
Cut out from McDonald. There's too high, but it's very narrow. It's very congested up the middle.
30 seconds to go.
Oh. Nice composure from Paul John, the keeper there. It was a miss deflected, but it was going in. A good cut out.
Yeah.
There's still space on the right. Oh, thought he's going to leave it. An effort with a slight miss trap, but oh, there's some nerves there.
There we go.
There we are.
Shootout.
For the third time in as many grand finals this year, we're going to a shootout. For Manly Gordon, it's 2 years in a row in a shootout. Last year against Macquarie Uni, they lost 3-2, and Macquarie did have one up their sleeve at the end.
Well, as you said, second half, Sydney Uni did come out with a plan. They did come out. They were a lot more methodical. They kept possession of the ball and ended up jagging those 2 goals.
Anything can happen. Let's see which end this is going to be conducted at. Looks like it's going to be at the southern end. Same as last year. We'll have a 5-minute break. Players have a drink, shake hands. Congratulations to the umpires, Robbie Sutton, David Coles, Chris Hawkins on the tech bench, all the players. I want to thank all the teams through the year. It was a pretty tight comp, pretty close. Any team can beat any other team on the day. The good thing, I guess, Godfrey, about the shootout compared to the old penalty stroke shootout, where the goalkeeper more often than not didn't have much of a chance of saving. This one puts the onus so much more on the striker.
Certainly does. Oh, I think it was a great innovation to bring it in.
It's more exciting for the crowd too. I mean, you're standing there just watching a one flick like a soccer penalty. It's just sort of, one go, bang, it's in. This way, the striker has to use skill, has to use anticipation, it's got to use some body fakes. The goalkeeper, in a way, should be favoured maybe in lower levels. At higher levels, you might expect the elite players to have the more speed, the greater speed on the ball to then get the shot away.
So at this level, it's 12 seconds in?
It's 10 this.
It's 10.
Sorry, no, it's 8. So
8,
Premier
8.
League and Sydney Cup, it's 8 seconds.
8 seconds.
The next game, which is Masters, it's 10 seconds. And for Senior Masters and Grand Masters, our 2 lowest divisions, we give the players 12 seconds.
Okay.
That reflects the age lower fitness levels and possibly lower skill levels of the players. 8 seconds at that level we think is not quite enough, and we want to make sure we see a good contest each time. So 8 seconds for this.
Well, all up in that game, I think that's a fair result to all, because Manly certainly had the ascendancy for, you know, a lot of that first half, bit of that second half, but then Sydney Uni.
If we had the Pro League level stats being kept here, I think we'd see Manly Gordon with greater time in possession, more passes made. But then again, if you're looking at shots on target,
effective shots,
we may sort of have had roughly the same. So Sydney Uni, while they had less dominance of the game, still ended up with as many shots or pretty much as many chances to score as Manly Gordon, and when they needed to, they made them. So if it's level after 5 shootouts each, then becomes sudden death.
Have you had any of these in your experience? Have you done the shootout?
Macquarie Uni last year in Sydney Cup, we progressed from the major semi, so we had a training session in between when the week the prelim was on, and we practiced the shootouts. I didn't take one on the night. I figured there were guys a bit fitter and faster and more skillful than me. But it's interesting. It's when you watch a lot of the Pro League and the elite level, it seems to have come down to a formula where the striker runs the ball pretty much straight to the penalty stroke spot, and the keeper engages. The striker turns their back to the keeper without backing into the keeper, and then tries to do a rapid drag side to side, wrong foot the keeper, and either backstick shave or forestick slotted under the diving keeper once you make the keeper move. It's sort of it's settled on a pretty much a formula for how the first 2 or 3 seconds settles down. Interesting, last year, it might have been Kevin Rule last year against Macquarie, came into the D and just creamed the ball straight into the backboard in the corner. One of the Manly Gordon players hit the top of the D and went for a lob. It went over the back. So I think it's sort of at this level, at more amateur level, you get a greater mix of shooting options or variations that the strikers might try.
I've seen at state championships over the last 5 or 6 years when it's gone to a shootout. Certainly guys my age, they've got the ball into the top of the circle. As they've got there, they've just gone whack. I remember Phil Downey scoring a goal against us a few years ago in a final at state championships, and Phil was playing for Goulburn, Canberra, ACT, and he was this sweet hitter of a ball. He just got into the circle, no fiddling around, just went whack. The goalkeeper just stood there. What happened there?
Well, I know when Kevy Rule scored his last year, our goalkeeper Ryan was sort of expecting to have to engage and to sort of consider what play to make. The ball just rifled past him before he'd sort of realised what had happened. But usually, as a striker, if you can shield the ball legally from the keeper, put a fake on, a body fake or a big drag, and get the keeper wrong-footed, you can then have a simple slot in the goal, or as the keeper is moving to cover you, there's a bit of a harbour bridge effect with the shape of their body. You can get the ball under them.
But you can see now, particularly at international level, how agile these goalkeepers are, how quickly they get to or past the penalty stroke spot there, and they take up a position, and they're very, very agile on their feet, aren't they?
They are. They can be doing the splits to make a save, and then within a second they're back on their feet, on their toes, ready to make a second save or a third save. Manly Gordon going first by the look of it. Paul John in goals. BJ would have done a few of these shootouts in his time. George Manu, the keeper last year for Manly Gordon, as they were runners-up.
Well, this will be a good contest, this first one here, because
Berwick
turns on a dime, doesn't he? He's very quick. and you've got somebody like Paul John who's very, very agile in goals.
It's a tantalising first shootout. 8 seconds. Oh, and missed.
He did
Turned him
everything.
and missed. As we said, backed into the keeper, did the spin, and then spun too far, and that has missed.
Did it perfectly.
Well, that's the first mini break, as you'd say in a tie break in tennis, the first mini break, mini advantage to Sydney Uni. Now, this chap has a shirt number that doesn't correspond with our team list, so forgive us for not being certain who the player is. Too easy for Manu.
Too easy. Yep.
Too easy for George Manu there. Didn't really move the keeper. No. Was able to hold the centre of the goal. 0-0. The SL6 Grand Final on Saturday here, Godfrey, went to a shootout. After 5 from each side, it was 1-0 to Norwest Borkum.
After 10 shots.
After 10. Suffice to say, it wasn't the greatest one you've seen. Tense, yes?
Yes, Kevin. Oh, and he's missed it.
And he's missed. Wide to the same side. The same tactic as last year. I detected a little jack-in-the-box, a little upright bobble as he went to hit. Yeah, just got a little wrong-footed, pulled the left hip out of the way there. Well, can Sydney Uni take advantage and take the lead for the first time in this game? Matthew Showles, looks like, if the number's correct. George Manu straight out to the spot. Yes, and slots it.
Yeah, George just didn't follow him, did he?
May have figured he had the angle covered.
Yeah.
Also not easy to get around in big set of pads when you get to our age.
Oh, stroke.
He's given a stroke.
Yep.
Looked like Paul John had saved that.
Yep. He did save it, but then the ball went forward.
I might see if we can get a quick replay here.
Yes,
no, that's too late. That's after the infringement.
He did take the striker's stick.
He had made the save, and then. So that's a reprieve for Manly Gordon here.
It is.
Paul John dejected in goal, but
he is pretty good.
He's got another save to make here.
On penalty strokes. He's had a great record over the years. He's very sharp.
That initial shot again missed left. He's just going to play a little psych out games here. Get his mind right, do a bit of gardening, a bit of farming.
I like this. Oh, there's a butterfly there.
Yeah.
There's a moth there.
But there could be a little dent in the pitch there, a little raised bit. It could have jagged and caught the edge and gone to first slip. Just a little bit of farming, a bit of gardening. Now let's just get settled, get our minds right.
Oh,
yeah,
good
nice.
Stroke. Good stroke.
Went early to his left PJ and allowed Aldersea to go high to where the keeper's right was. Plenty of power on that. Herford now.
And that's what the penalty stroke has got to be. It's got to have power, hasn't it?
It must. So a very highly decorated Masters player. Jeff Hayes missed one on Saturday in a grand final. Just didn't quite have the power. George has fallen. Herford scores for 2-1.
You've got to stay on your feet, George.
News in from Grandmasters Northside have won that 1-0 over Sutherland. Congratulations to them on
Well
pitch
done.
2. So the halftime score ended up being the full-time score. It's 2-1 here after 3 shootouts each. 2 more from each team.
Interesting thing, looking at the officiating, the third officiating tech guy who blows the whistle. He does the timing. He's not looking at what's going on.
Looking only at his stopwatch for the 8 seconds and blows the whistle as soon as it hits 8 so that none of the on-field umpires are distracted. Oh, there's an attempted lob and it's cleared.
Yeah.
He might like to look at the replay, or he might not, and look to think maybe I could have chosen a different option. Now, if my maths from high school serves me right, Godfrey, this is for the win.
Yep, that's it.
That's Rowan McDonald in number 70. If he scores this, it's 3-1 with 1 to play, so it's game over. This is for the win. This is for Sydney Uni to win the premiership. Creams it through. That is it. It's through the pads. 3-1 to Sydney Uni. Well, they didn't lead at any stage during the game. They took the lead in the shootout. And they've won the competition from 3rd spot. Congratulations, Sydney Uni. Well played, Manly Gordon, tonight.
How good is hockey?
It's a great game. It's the best team game of all, Godfrey.
You wouldn't have picked that after halftime, would you?
Not at all, and certainly not 2-0 after Kevin Reel scored that beautifully crafted goal for Manly Gordon to put them 2 up. Thank you to our umpires. Chris Hawkins, the TO. Commiserations to Manly Gordon. That's 2 years in a row they've lost in a shootout. Players and umpires embracing, congratulating one another. A very entertaining game. Over on pitch 2, just repeating, Northside 1 have defeated Sutherland 0, so the minor premiers going through there to win the competition. We're going to sign off here. Thank you, Godfrey, for your special comments. You're in with Mark Matheson for the Masters division.
Yeah.
I'll jump out of the chair, do some presentations in the main room. Thank you to our cameramen.
Thanks for expert commentary, Ian. Well done.
Always a pleasure, Godfrey. Good to see you.
Likewise.
Good luck in Perth at the Nationals.
I won't be there. You will be there?
No, I'm not going this year. Good luck to all the players going to Perth.
It'll be a great tournament.